But if you, I know your name and family name, all that, just to make sure, if you can repeat that, I will please and thank you.
Sure. I'm Raywat Deonandan, epidemiologist and associate professor at University of Ottawa.
Awesome, thank you. Statistics Canada released a report today basically saying that COVID-19 is blamed for a greatest drop in life expectancy in the country. For those who do not understand how these things are measured, uh, when we talk about life expectancy in Canada, what do we mean exactly here?
Uh, well, it's complicated. It's it's based on the number of people removed from the population who are expected to live a certain amount of time. So, if a bunch of 90-year-olds were to die, as tragic as that would be for their families, they're not expected to live very long anyway. So that removes a small number of years from the average life expectancy. If a bunch of younger people are removed from the population, that removes a larger number of expected years that the average person is expected to live. So the fact that we're seeing a dramatic decline in life expectancy means that an unusually large amount of young people have died early due to this pandemic, which of course is a tragedy.
Um, thank you for this. So, for example, they say that national life expectancy, which is estimated on annual basis, 81.7 years for those born in 2020, down from 82.3 the year before. So we're not only talking here about new borns. Then, when we're talking about life expectancy,
Life expectancy is, again, it's a complicated mathematical construct. It's based upon the experiences of the previous generation. It doesn't necessarily predict how long you're going to live. It's based on the average experience of the current cohort and the previous cohort. What this is a signal that the population has taken a huge hit in terms of the number of people killed and who was killed. So people in the prime of their lives have died early. That's the story here to me.
and in terms of the pandemic, they say it's one of the third basically leading cause of death
Yeah.
in 2020. Do you think that percentage, or because it's the largest since 1921, do you think it's the largest because of COVID, or just COVID added to the crisis pretty much?
It's pretty much guaranteed it's due almost entirely to COVID. COVID has been known to be the single biggest killer for some time of certain age groups, more so than heart disease, more so than traffic accidents. It exceeded heart disease sometime in 2021, I believe, in both Canada and the USA. So it's been the biggest threat to mortality in wealthy nations for many months. So, yeah, this is the nature of a deadly pandemic, and people keep downplaying the mortal impact of this because they perceive that a 1% fatality rate is not a big deal. A 1% infection fatality rate for a disease is extraordinarily high when applied to a population level. If 1% of the population was suddenly removed, as has been done amongst infected people, that's a huge blow to the population. That's what we're seeing here. So, in a short period of time, it is the most deadly of a category of medical misadventures. So, we cannot downplay the impact of this disease.
And do you have any comments on the provinces? Why, for example, the prairies, Quebec, Ontario, British Columbia saw more than other whatever the rest
Yeah,
of the
there's
provinces?
several things at play here when it comes to death rates and life expectancy. The number one thing is demographics. That's usually the differentiator in populations. There isn't that much of a different demographic profile between the provinces. Some have a demographic profile that skews younger, and some have some that skew older. Obviously, the provinces that skew older are a greater risk of death in general and death by this disease particularly. But also, the mitigation measures put into place seem to play a large role in this. So the maritime Atlantic nations, provinces rather, have done better overall throughout this pandemic for a number of reasons. Some geographic advantages, some population advantages, but also they acted early, they acted hard, They contained their bubble well. They deployed mitigation tools like rapid tests quite strategically and voluminously. So the dividends of that action are shown in the statistics.
And my last question is about the comparison between men and women. The percentage in men was bigger. Do you have any comments on that?
I don't really know what's happening there. I suspect it has to do with men are more likely to take risks in general. So that usually means men are more hesitant around vaccination. Men are going to be a little less restrictive when it comes to curtailing their exposures. That's what's observed at the individual level. Has that percolated to the population level? I suspect it has. I think we all see in our personal lives that who are the people most likely to go to the grocery store, for example, for the family? It'll be the men in some cases. But also the essential workers, the people who can't stay home, the bus drivers, ambulance drivers, blue collar workers, people who can't work from home are disproportionately male, I think. I could be wrong by that, but that's what I think. And so they're more likely to become infected. And also, since they're also more likely to be unvaccinated for a variety of reasons, that's a double whammy. So I'm not surprised. There may be an argument about male physiology being a bit more susceptible to this disease. I don't know about that. Have to explore that. I suspect though this is a demographic issue having to do with behavior and socioeconomic status.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.